Hello there, and welcome to Sydney. Hey, I get why you want to visit. I've lived here my whole life. This is a great city. With a population of 5.5 million, Sydney is Australia's biggest city. Don't let those stupid Melburnians fool you. It's an amazing city with beautiful nature, amazing food, and just so much more to do than you'd think, honestly. In this video, follow me as I give you a local's guide to the best things to do in Sydney. We'll be looking at the main attractions, underrated hikes, best dining districts, and all the hidden gems that you may not have known about. I'm Shareth, and welcome to Building Beautifully. Before I continue, massive shout out to my monthly Patreon supporters. Please do consider supporting me over on Patreon if you can. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already, and do be sure to check out the rest of Building Beautifully, where I discover Sydney one story at a time. Finally, a massive thank you to the following people. This video wouldn't have been possible without their filming help. Okay, let's say you just landed in Sydney. You probably want to jump on a kangaroo and hop on over to the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. But don't. It's just a bridge. You can do a lot better than that. Oh, and by the way, it's actually illegal to take photos of the Sydney Harbour Bridge at night. That's how half of Sydney ends up in jail during Vivid every year. Look, first things first. When you go to Google Maps and search up Sydney, you're going to be told that Sydney stretches all the way west to Parramatta, Penrith and Liverpool. This is incorrect. Sydney actually officially ends at Broadway, and it's been this way since Captain Cock. Officially, everything west of there is called a f***hole. There's never a good reason to cross the Harbour Bridge, and for every kilometre you stray west of Bondi, you lose 1 year of your life. Welcome to Sydney CBD. You simply have to visit George Street, the high street of Sydney. Or at least it used to be. This was previously a gorgeous road filled with fragrant fumes and delightful ambience. Sadly, the government ruined it all when they pedestrianised it and added a stupid light rail. Look, I'm literally walking faster than it. I just want to remind you that instead of this, we could have kept the monorail. F***ing Gladys. Sydney has some gorgeous architecture, but you need to know where to look. Buildings like this, ugh. Now that's more like it. Barangaroo is a beautiful place with lots of urban renewal, and more importantly, it's somewhere that's been built really quickly. It's a great place for everyday Sydneysiders looking for something quick and affordable to eat. Actually, we can't afford this, cut the shot. Darling Harbour is a beautiful place, especially if you're in the mood to see a $1 billion ass. It's a great place for families looking for a hearty, affordable, oh my god, we don't have the budget for this. The Rocks. It's beautiful, it's delightful, and there's so many great places to eat. Oh, f*** me, is there literally anywhere we can afford to eat in this stupid city? Okay, well, you've had the food, you've seen the sights, now what? Well, you gotta head to Bondi, obviously. First, you'll have to wait for the train.
The train on platform 1 is delayed by approximately 100 minutes.
100 minutes late? That's ahead of schedule. Then you'll finally make it to Bondi Junction. But don't be fooled, this is Bondi Junction, not Bondi Beach. Time to get on the bus. While you're on the bus, make sure you pay your respects to the people who made it to Bondi Beach first. Rich snobs who were completely unaffected by the 2021 COVID lockdown because they haven't left Bondi since 2006. They fought tooth and nail to stop a train line from ever being built here, to make sure undesirables like me can't get here. Thanks to the selfless residents of Bondi, they've made this a much nicer place to be for the rest of us when we eventually make it here after 17 hours. And hey, Bondi Beach is one of a kind. There's literally no other beach anywhere else on the Australian coastline that looks like this. Every great city has its great high street. London has Oxford Street, France has, yeah, that one, and Sydney has Parramatta Road. For decades, governments have vowed to fix Parramatta Road and transform it into something brilliant. But nothing has happened, and the only reason for that is that we all already agree Parramatta Road is perfect as it is. Speaking of roads, Sydneysiders are notoriously the worst drivers in the country. But look, if you were paying the tolls we're paying and spending half your life stuck in traffic, frankly, I think you'd be driving like a bit of a madman too. Hurry up, you idiot!
Sydney's public transport is world class, solely in the sense that Sydney is a city in the world. You know how when you're watching a movie, you want suspense to make it more entertaining? Well, Sydney train drivers have realised that, because they strive to make sure that you never know when your train might arrive. God, why anyone would base their entire identity off public transport is beyond me.
This train will stop at Parramatta.
Crap, this is going to Parramatta. I need to get off this train.
It should go without saying that you need to do everything in your power to avoid going to Western Sydney, but if you do somehow accidentally end up there, first of all, my condolences. You've now lost 26 years of your life. I hope your estate is in order. You can make it out of Western Sydney alive if you remember 3 things. Make eye contact with no one. Develop a Western Sydney accent. You'll need this if you have the displeasure of speaking to a Western Sydneysider.
Wait, cuz, give me a puff of your vape, cuz.
Eat acai. Acai is your new permanent diet. Breakfast, lunch and dinner. Don't question how exactly something so unashamedly North Shore stay-at-home mum coded ended up in Western Sydney.
Now, the more time you spend in Sydney, the more you'll probably want to move here. And look, I get it. You too want the privilege to be able to call yourself a New South Welshman. Vaucluse. It's a truly beautiful suburb, and it could be your home for just $7.8 million. I know, it's cheap. Sydney's had a bit of a property downturn lately. Of course, if you somehow inexplicably can't afford that, you could just pay $3,000 a week in rent. Easy. Look, I'll explain it to you in a way even someone from Perth could understand. Sydney has 2 classes of people, the landlords and the the renters. Landlords are generally those who bought homes back in the 70s for $20 and a banana. You'll now be paying thousands in rent to them, which will then be funneled straight into the pockets of their kids to help them get into the housing market. But don't worry, if you're lucky, your parents may also be scamming some poor suckers to help you get into the housing market. Sydney is just an endless mess of rich people passing money around to help their kids get richer.
But hey, it's okay. Once you've spent your $3,000 on rent, that leaves you with about negative $1,500 to go spend on a night out. Don't worry though. Quite thoughtfully, Sydney understands that everyone living in this city is broke as hell. So we've kindly spent the past decade making sure there's f*** all to do here past 8 PM. And before 8 PM too, to be honest. Who do you think we are, Melbourne? If you do somehow manage to find a night activity, make sure you enjoy it while you can, before the NIMBYs catch wind of it. After all, Sydney is desperately trying to overthrow Adelaide as the retirement home of Australia.
Before you come here, you need to know that Sydney is divided into 3 tribes: the public school tribe, the selective school tribe, and the private school tribe. I came from the selective school tribe, having attended James Youth Agricultural High School, the top school in New South Wales. There's actually a well-known law in Sydney that you're not allowed to socialise with people from other tribes. And if you're not from Sydney, good luck! It's basically impossible to make friends here. It's Newton's 4th law. You're either not rich enough, not smart enough, or not poor enough. Sydneysiders are some snooty cunts. So that's Sydney. I really hope I see you here. It's a lovely city and I'd never leave unless of course I find somewhere I like more or I just decide I want to. Let me know in the comments what you think everyone who visits Sydney should do. And while you do that, excuse me while I commit some road rage. Oh, you f***ing idiot! I have a job to get to! Suddenly they're paying all of us! By the way, check the date this video is uploaded and have a happy April Fools. Okay, I know, you probably want an actual serious video diving into the best things to do in Sydney, so don't worry, I am working on that and I should be releasing a video on that in about 2 weeks. For now, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.